This is Mr. Herman, and I'm going to go over the slope-intercept form remediation with you today. We're going to work through some of these problems. You'll do some of these on your own, and then you'll check them with the questions on Edpuzzle. And this does look similar to what we did last week for our remediation. We want to make sure we hit this again, because I think finding slope was something that we had a little bit of difficulties with. So before we start writing these equations, we'll start with what is slope-intercept form. I think we've all seen this before, y equals mx plus b. So m here, that's our slope, and the y-intercept is the same as b. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just plug in what we know into our equation. So we have m, in this case is negative 1, x, and then plus b, in this case is minus 3. Okay, so now go ahead and answer number 2 on Edpuzzle. All right, now we'll go over this together. M is our slope, y equals, so we have 1/4 x, and then y-intercept that's the same as b, minus 2. Okay, so hopefully you got that, or you can check your work to see why we did not. So let's go ahead and look at numbers 3 and 4 together, and you'll do numbers 5 and 6 on your own. So let's start by finding the y-intercept. So y-intercept, same as b. In this case, here's 0, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So that's what we did last week with key features of graphs, is we found the y-intercept. Now we got to talk about slope. Okay, so m equals change in y over change in x. Okay, you might think this is rise over run. I don't like to call it that because we're not always going up. Okay, so if I'm going to look at number 3 right here, if I'm looking at my change in y, I'm not going to go up anything. So my change in y is 0. Here are my 2 points. And then my change in x, I'm going 1, 2. So 0 over 2 equals 0. So if m is 0 and y is negative 4, I have y equals 0x minus 4, which is the same as y equals negative 4. Okay, so now let's look at number 4 for a minute. We're going to go ahead and find the y-intercept first. So let's see. The y-intercept, which is the same as b, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say it's about 4.5. Okay, so I'm going to say 4.5. All right, and then let's go ahead and look at these 2 points. Now, something that we talked about last week was slope triangles. So I'm going to make a right triangle with the line. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my change in y is negative 5 because I went down 5. And then in x, 1, 2, 3 to the right. So that's positive 3. Okay, so we crossed the y-axis at 4.5. And then to get the slope, I went down 5. Okay, I'm just trying to write that on there. So minus 5. And then I went right 3. So that's positive 3. So we write our equation. We have y equals mx plus b. Let's plug in what we know. So y equals negative 5 over 3x plus 4.5. So you can go ahead and work on numbers 5 and 6 on your own, and then we'll go over them. We'll check them here. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about 5 and 6. Okay, try to get that into focus. Okay, so we'll start off with the y-intercept, which is the same as b. Let's see, try to get that in focus for us. There we go. All right, so our y-intercept, we crossed the y-axis at 0, 0. So the y-intercept is going to be 0 there. Now let's look at our slope. I've got 2 points on my line right here. and right here. So I'm going to start by doing my change in y. So I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So minus 5. And then right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Negative 5 over 7. Okay, so we go and write our equation. So y equals mx. So m is negative 5 over 7x plus 0. And actually, it's not quite 0, but we're going to call it 0 for our purposes. So you could also write that as y equals negative 5 over 7x. Okay, let's take a look at number 6. So let's find our y-intercept first, what that b value is. So 1, 2, 3. We went up 3. So our y-intercept is 3. Let's find our slope. Make our slope triangle. So here's my 2 points. So I go down 1. That's minus 1. Over, I go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a terrible line, Mr. Herman. 2, 3, 4. There we go. So that's going right 4. Okay. So then y equals, we said m is negative 1 over 4 x, and then b is 3. Okay. Now, the slope that we just found, that's real similar to the average rate of change that we've been talking about, and that's why we have this remediation. Now you can go ahead and work on the notes by yourself before checking them and having the post test.